Okay, it's Mike again. I'm back with Dane G, Russ, of Dane the Death Machine. Um, the next question is, when did the drug use turn into like a full on addiction?
The drug use turned into a full addiction when I was about 17 years old. When I started with my band Half Step, and I started dealing cocaine. And since I was dealing cocaine, I was getting a lot for free. Actually, all the coke that I snorted, I was getting for free, and I was making a lot of money. And that's kind of when it got out of hand and turned into crack shortly thereafter. But yeah.
And was there just a moment when you were just like, when you just kind of realized it? You're like, oh shit, I'm addicted to this?
Yeah, there was actually. I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was with my band Half Step. And it was shortly after like the whole band started turning from snorting coke into smoking crack. And I actually went over to my friend's house one night just to get like a gram of coke because I stopped dealing at that point, and my whole band was over there smoking crack, and I was just looking around at what was going on, and I just packed up all my shit and left to California without telling anybody, and I went and stayed with my dad for a few weeks to get my head straight, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, yeah, this is a little farther out of my control than I can handle.
And then it seems like it just kind of slips into it. Like, how easy is it to just move from someone who, just uses something occasionally to someone that becomes an addict?
I think it's really easy. I think it's a really thin line. It goes from being very fun to being very desperate in the blink of an eye. I don't actually even like really know when it happened, but it did, and it did get very desperate, very fast.
And you talked about selling it earlier also, because it's illegal and all this stuff in it. There's, I think, a perception that it's almost hard to come by. Is that true at all?
Oh, it's not hard to come by. No, it's people talk about the world of drugs, and the fucked up part is that when you get that deep into drugs, it really does become its own separate world. And when you are in that world, it's so insanely easy to come by. It's not even funny. But you have to like make a conscious effort to tap into that world. And maybe not even like a conscious effort, but you have to become a participant, and eventually, I mean, if you don't check yourself, everyone does. And once you are a participant, it's very easy to come by drugs.
And as part of that world, just, personal knowledge that I have that you've worked in a lot of restaurants, and reading their statistics that there is a lot of drug use in restaurants. Do you think that contributed to it?
That's where I made all my money when I was dealing. When I was dealing, I sold it almost exclusively to the people that I was working with in my restaurants. Every once in a while, people would come and hang out at my place, and I would sell to them there. But the majority of the money that I made selling drugs were to the people in the restaurants. Yes, restaurants are skeezy fucking dens of villains. It's just like, oh yeah, we're all a crazy bunch of loons. Definitely. Cheers.
And then, let's see, sort of on a related note, has it ever kind of affected, like, your employment or your financial status?
You're an asshole. Actually, Christmas Eve 2008, I got fired from Chili's for being extremely intoxicated. There were two cocaine dealers there, and I'm not gonna name names, whatever, dude. But yeah, like there's a lot of cocaine there, and they weeded out the cocaine heads. They weeded out the potheads shortly thereafter, and then they weeded out the drunks. And at that point in my life, I was just a drunk, which I mean, hey. So yeah, right. I mean, but yeah, it has definitely affected every aspect of my life.